Welcome to another edition of the Bear Down Chicago podcast with your hosts, Ryan Dangle.
You picked a tie? What are we,
True.
in Europe? Like, what?
I'm sorry.
Soccer?
Ties happen in the NFL, man.
They're called draws, right? Yeah, no, dude. Why? Why are we doing? No, absolutely not. All right. Well, you got to keep your own record now because I don't have a tie column. I got a win-loss column.
Patrick Sheldon.
I say that because the flashlight emanating and beaming from the steaming pile of as today's game is David Montgomery. He is the flashlight in my pile of poop.
Brendan Shagru.
So our buddy Brendan, who writes for USA Today, I have always screwed up his last name. Shugri?
Shagru.
Brendan.
And Jack Wright.
Sorry, Captain Flo's over there.
I'm not Captain Cruz.
So you're not excited, Jack? You're not excited about having Sarah Spain?
Yeah,
on your
wow.
show, which is
Maybe no
clearly I
eye for
am.
talent. Is that what we found out?
Featuring Cam Ellis.
Once I was like trying to get a happy answer out of him, and I was like, "Hey man, like, do you take out of these situations like what is it like to know that like you're this beloved, that like these videos are going viral?" And he was just like, "I don't do it for that attention." And then they just took the next question, and I was just like, "Okay, like I'm gonna melt into my seat and never come back here ever again."
And Logan Bradley.
Bears, rich history defensively. A lot of good linebackers. First round draft pick, hell of a player, a Bear that is going to go down in history. Nobody's going to forget. I am bringing back Shea McClellan.
The Bear Down Chicago podcast. Yeah, we're that Bears podcast.
All right, folks, welcome into another edition of the Bear Down Chicago podcast. I am your host, Ryan Dangle. So if you want to find me on Twitter, it's at Ryan Dangle. That's Dengel. Bears lost again in painful fashion. Again. You have to laugh or you're going to cry. Like something's going to happen. Let's bring to the stage. I'm so excited. Like this is truly an excuse to just hang out with one of my very good friends, Logan Bradley. How the hell are you, buddy?
I'm doing good. Earlier today, I was like thinking about last week, how I know you weren't here, Dangle, but like we came on here and it was like, oh, here we are. It's another loss. We're doing the same podcast again. I'm going to flip it. I'm going to be a little positive today. You know, despite the loss and everything, I'm here with Ryan Dangle. I don't think that it's ever been just us two probably on the podcast. So life can't be that bad. We were here discussing right before we came on how you had a nice day. I had a good day doing nothing, cleaning up a little bit, watching some football that was fun to watch because it wasn't the Bears. Yeah, it was, despite it all, despite the L, a good day, a good Sunday.
So find Logan on Twitter at LBrad5. Just because you're right. It's never just been the two of us. I promise for all of you tuning in, you're like, did he just say gymnastics? Logan and I used to coach gymnastics together. And there were times where it were like, none of our guys, like none of them would watch football. But he and I would be like, hey, let's talk football. And they'd be like, what are you guys talking about?
Yeah, it still amazes me to this day, but it's just the connection. We are the two rare from the gymnast community. Of course, there are a few others, but who just really enjoy other sports. It's just not a thing, and it's always so confusing. But
no,
here we are.
You know what, dude? I miss it. We had a lot of really fun memories doing it. There's one in particular. We had a kid that just didn't put it together all season long, and then like right when it mattered, he just did it perfectly. And we're both like, I'm jumping up and down, and Logan, I just see your face like, I can't.
I'm so glad that was captured on camera because truly that was just an astonishing moment.
Oh man! So that now we got to have this fun reminisce. Let's talk about another Bears L.
Life's not bad.
So shout out to all of you who are hanging out with us. So
TJ?
Bears Den podcast, bear down to you as well. I love the logo. It's super cool. Our guy TJ Brooks and other Bears lost, but Logan Bradley's stash saves the day. if for some reason you're an audio only listener, first of all, thank you for hanging out with the Bear Down Chicago podcast. Second of all, come see Logan Bradley's sexy ass mustache.
It's
Check
what
us out on
brings
YouTube.
viewers, all of the viewers.
Meanwhile, I'm rocking this. It's for charity, but it's this insanely
good.
thin beard, and it will grow in a little bit better, but not too much better.
You can do it, Dangle.
Yeah, it's it's a thing. But hey, it's for charity. So then come March or April, somewhere only I'll be bald. I'll be no facial hair whatsoever. So it's so just really quick, another really good listener comment. Matt, can't lie, didn't see a snap, took a Bears break to do yard work. Matt, you're smart. You're a very smart man.
Live your life.
It just it had moments where it was exciting, and that's some of my Viking friends were like, hey, this was an exciting one. I'm like, no, you don't understand.
Yeah.
All of the Bears recent games have been exciting.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? Let's call that a silver lining. At least we're not, I mean, we are used to watching boring football, but like it's been exciting this year. Not in a good way, most of the time, but it has been.
Thomas Brown. I mean, like legit, I think there are things to be excited about. Thomas Brown is one of them, which, you know what, Logan, I'm going rogue today because it's just you and me. Let's do it. I'm going to do it right off the bat. We're going to thank some wonderful people after this. But first I can't wait for this one. It is a true false. And I think I've got maybe it's a bold statement. I don't even know. True or false. The Bears will finally fire, like not essence. Sorry about that. I'll change that in a minute. She finally fire a head coach before the end of the regular season. And Logan, before you can even say a word, I'm going to say true. And the only reason I'm going to say true is two things: Eric Washington and Thomas Brown. I think there's just this, especially with Thomas Brown right now, that there's just this little bit of like, hey, there's something brewing here. There's clearly a connection between him and Caleb. Why wouldn't you just fight? Matt Eberflus he's losing no matter what you do. So get him out of there. If you continue to lose, you were losing anyway. So what's the point? I kind of want to see what he can do with the team because he's got the energy, the enthusiasm. That's how I was as a coach. I'm jumping all over the place. I'm so excited. I get the feeling that Ryan Poles, maybe one, to save his job, or two, just because like he has this unique situation where there might be somebody in the room that's better and a better fit for your quarterback. Where are you at in this one, Logan?
So I agree with a lot of the things that you said there. I still would go with false just because like you have so much evidence to support the fact that they just will refuse to do it no matter what. But I do think you're correct in terms of just Thomas Brown providing some type of spark for this team. And again, I think it's only been 2 games, and just with anything in the NFL, I would like to see a little bit more of a sample size. That does not mean I wouldn't absolutely take him as an interim head coach this very moment. I think I would like to see a few more games worth of it, but like it's something as simple as those shots of him like up in the booth calling a game, like being into the game, like getting fired up like a fan would. Like you don't need that from a coordinator by any means, but it's just good to sometimes as a fan. It's so stupid, but it's just good to see that coaches and players care, that they like give a shit about what's going on and that they show some emotion. Like I want to see that. So that's been phenomenal from his part. Again, I still think I want to see a few more games worth of this, but there's no doubt that he has Caleb trending in such a better direction, even just over that small sample size. I'm sure we'll go into it further, but just for a lot of different reasons, Caleb just looked different today in the way that he was throwing the ball, in the decisions that he was making. So I don't believe that they will end up firing Flus by the end of the year, because it just makes too much sense and it's too obvious to do that for the McCaskies to make that decision. But like what you said, Ryan, the one thing supporting maybe there being a fire is like, man, the Ryan Poles stock has definitely taken a hit this year, whether it's, up to him to be able to fire Flus or not. But he truly is, like, his job is on the line probably at this point just as much as Flus is.
It's so, I know we've talked about this endlessly, just going back and forth. He's done so many good things.
Yeah.
But
so many
now
good things.
He has some misses, which we've talked about, trading for a wide receiver that shouldn't really shouldn't have been in the NFL anymore, really, at that point, missing on the offensive line badly. That was just like, you needed way more offensive line and you didn't get it. But I think this number one thing that has me like putting full holes on the hot seat is the fact that he stuck to a head coach that shouldn't have been brought back when you had an opportunity to get some real game changers at head coach.
Yeah, no, and I just think that the best NFL like franchises, and you could say this across any sport, but it's just like you take chances also in firing guys and letting guys go too, because you can just let a problem persist and you can keep trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. But the best franchises make decisions. They make them quickly. They make them, you know, before it gets to this point where it's like everyone and their mother knows that Flus shouldn't be the coach of this team, and yet the Bears are there sitting there just looking dumb. So I just think that like until the day comes where one of these Chicago teams has the sack to like make a decision that like maybe not everyone agrees with up top in the organization, you're just going to continue getting the same thing. So I have no idea how much he's pulls his hamstrung by the management, but I just have to imagine it's a ton. So
Andrew brings up a really good point. Missed on the coaching staff is inexcusable. Refusing to fire him is even worse. The hire of Shane Waldron is just it's beyond a head scratcher. You know, I don't want to misquote him because he's not here tonight. Brennan Shagrew, basically, you know, he said of the hires that were potential, like that was his favorite. And I was like, oh, buddy, I don't like that one whatsoever. Brennan is almost always right. So if he's ever kind of wrong, I have to get it to him. But this is my point more than anything else. To Andrew's point, he did something that other GMs haven't done. He fired the offensive coordinator. Yeah. And Matt Eberflus said it was his decision, but he just wanted to demote him. And Poles is like, oh, no. That dude is gone.
I didn't even realize that.
He corrected his mistake.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like there is part of me that says he's smart enough to understand, like, hey, I messed up. Defensive line wasn't good enough. Offensive line wasn't good enough. And I hired the wrong offensive coordinator, or I let Matt Eberflus hire the wrong offensive coordinator. But I got Thomas Brown on the staff. Let's see what this guy can do. You know, I'm just trying really hard to be optimistic in this. And usually I'm a fairly optimistic person, but the Bears kind of pull that away from you as much as is possible.
It is. It really does. It makes you question like what you're doing with 3 hours of your Sunday every week. But I think you made a good point in the fact that like Poles corrected a mistake. And when you just go back to, not to beat a dead horse, we all know that Flus needs to be fired. But that's the thing about him, is just he just doesn't correct mistakes. Like there's no learns like week over week. Like one microcosm of it is today, the field goal being blocked in the exact same way as it was last week. It's just how does that happen 2 weeks in a row? So like Flus's teams just continue to make the same mistakes week after week. And God knows, just like you can make mistakes, but just don't make the same mistake twice. You know, that's like the old saying. He makes them 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. It's like very impressive that he just does the same thing over and over.
So Logan, you bring up something that I definitely had wanted to talk about later in the show, but I think it's the perfect time to talk about it now. 3 blocked kicks in a season. That's never happened before, and it happened. Yeah. And so I've seen a lot of people blaming it solely on Cairo Santos' weak leg. And I don't think anyone's going to dispute that he is not a strong leg kicker. But the onside kick today, hey, when they needed to have a field goal, they did. Like those things like make you go, he's not the worst kicker on the planet. And so what do you blame Hightower for this, the special teams coach? Do you blame the offensive line, the blocking, Matt Eberflus for in the going into second half, taking just 40 seconds off the clock to just
his time management is so stupid.
Did you see that the entire season, he has not had one challenge go his way? Not one. That's unreal. It's unbelievable.
I saw something, and I'm not going to say this right because I don't have it in front of me, but I'm pretty sure Courtney Cronin tweeted about it. Something about how Matt Eberflus is like 2 of 12 or something in challenges, which is like the worst among non-first year head coaches. Again, something like that, something really, really bad. But yeah, he proves time and time again that he just has no idea what's going on. And honestly, I forget what the question was at this point, but it's those end of like half scenarios. And
Yes.
your question was like who to blame for the field goal stuff keeping happening. And like, I don't know who to blame exactly per se, but like the special teams coordinator, I guess, because Cairo Santos, I think he's earned the benefit of the doubt with being with the Bears. He's been one of the more consistent performers over the last couple of years, and we just haven't seen this happening. I think that it's fair to put a little bit of blame on him as well. He's kicking the ball, kick it differently. I don't know. Again, like I'm not going to be the guy to sit here and break down special teams play and like field goal attempt. Like I know what it is, but with mistakes like that, yeah, when there's that many special teams errors in a game, I'll look at the special teams coordinator and the head coach, and those are the two people that I'm going to put the most blame on. It's just preparation of like, what can we do differently to make sure that this stupid mistake doesn't happen again, and that doesn't happen ever.
And you said it earlier, which is he doesn't fix his mistakes. I was thinking about this of the Tressman, the Matt Nagy, right? Like he might be the worst game day like manager. Now, Nagy would his play calling like had no rhyme or reason to it whatsoever, and he wasn't great at it. But I can't believe I'm giving Matt Nagy a compliment. This is how bad things have gotten. When I start thinking about it, and another great comment from Matt, right? Flus saying I need to communicate better every week. It's year 3, week 12, my man. You're drowning. Yeah, he's not making the changes, and that is this obstinance that is so just unbelievably frustrating.
It also just always makes me so mad. I didn't watch his dumbass talk at the post-game presser today, but like he goes up to that post-game presser every week after the most just heart-wrenching loss and says the same thing over and over again. Like I understand a lot of those press conferences that you get from coaches. It's going to be a lot of coach speak, and we're just getting very bland. Like that's fine. I get it. You're not going to give up a lot of stuff. You haven't watched the all 22 or whatever, but like sometimes it is about the message that you're generally delivering as a coach when you get up in those situations. And if you have these same things happening over and over again, find a different way to communicate that to basically you're talking to the fan base at that point. Don't say the same thing every time. Like it's just, there hasn't been confidence in the head coach in so long. But like just change up what you're saying, change up what your message is. Like at some point say this keeps happening over and over again. Nobody is more pissed off about this than me. And it's because of me that this is happening. And he just has no ability to do that.
That's the thing, Logan. It is the accountability. And I said this last week for any of you that missed last week's episode, I'm going to say it again, which is he lost this team after the Hail Mary.
Yeah.
Not because of the Hail Mary or the play before, which I know a lot of people taking it, is when he stepped to the podium and he didn't take full accountability. He doesn't take accountability. He deflects and deflects and deflects. He's so bad in front of the podium. It's mind numbing, dude. Just take the L and say, hey, it's on me. But he can't.
Yes. No, he can't. And just like this, him being a head coach, even more so than the last disasters of Bears head coaches, has just made me realize like how important, just more than the strategy of a game, more than the game plan from a head coach, the just leadership abilities like of a head coach is what you need. Like I was listening to Rex Ryan, who I understand maybe is not the greatest head coach example, but he was on the Pardon My Take on Friday, and he was just kind of talking about the idea of coaches being leaders and how important that is. And as it was so obvious when I think Flus lost his being a leader in the team's eyes even before the Hail Mary, but that was the nail in the coffin. And it's just, there's no leadership ability whatsoever from that man. There's zero ability to be a leader. And that's just the simplest thing. And that's what we're constantly missing from Bears head coaches is these soft personalities. And I would love them to hire a Jim Harbaugh, as much as I don't even like Jim Harbaugh that much, really. But there's no denying that guy is a phenomenal football coach. Or a Mike Vrabel. Just like, give me a hard ass, give me something different. And like, they might not be the best offensive game planner, defensive game planner. Is Flus a good defensive game planner? Look at his third down defense every time. It's terrible. And he's a defensive whiz or whatever. So
Logan, that's the thing. Last year I was trying so hard because I hated the Matt Eberflus signing from the beginning, but I was trying to give credit where credit is due. And the two things that I gave him credit for last season were he held the locker room together. He was a good character guy that seemingly had good chemistry amongst his players. They were still playing hard even when the games were out of reach. That's gone. And the second thing was he was a phenomenal defensive coordinator. No, he's not.
No.
The Vikings, dude, they were all over you. And especially on 3rd and 4th down when they had to have it, they had it. And there were 3rd and 13, whatever.
It was wasn't it Nick Mullins came in for one play and converted a 3rd and 12?
It was a 3rd and 13.
That's all you need to know. A guy came out cold off the bench and made your third and long. Nick Mullins, fire him. He should. That's the play he should have been fired after. Not even the Hail Mary. That's so ridiculous that you let that happen.
Yeah, you have to laugh because if not, then none of this is fun. I'm just in our text thread, we're trying to get things organized, and it's just guys, do we want to?
Yeah, it's hard. They make it hard for me to hang out with my friends and just talk. Can you believe that? They made that not even as fun, but it's still fun. We're still having a good time.
I need Logan Bradley in my life. I know I say it every time. Logan, I got a really, really good true or false for you, and I think it's on everybody's mind. But before we do that, I think it's really, really important that we thank some people. So why don't we do that?
Absolutely. So one thing I would say is that, hey, Matt Eberflus got a big confidence boost the last time he got a haircut, and I'm not going to promise you it'll make you a better game caller, leader, or anything, but you guys should head to Hensel's and Sheridan's Barbershop. Sheridan's Barbershop, the cornerstone of the Wheaton community since 1954, where old school charm meets modern style. They've got 6 master barbers ready to keep you looking sharp, even sharper than Flus. They are open Monday through Saturday, where you can go see our guy Will, who will have you looking absolutely sharp. Let them know that the guys at the Bear Down Chicago podcast sent you over there. You can book online at sheridansbarbershop.com like a regular human being, or you can call the shop at 630-668-0137. They would love to have you regardless. And if you're in the downtown Naperville area, Hensel's, a local favorite since 1966. They have 6 barbers, and they're open Tuesday through Saturday. Sheridan's and Hensel's Barbershop, where traditional meets modern.
Logan, as I'm listening to your sultry voice talk about Hensel's and Sheridan, I'm like, oh yeah. Sorry, just getting excited over here. All right, so I think in the biz they call it a tease, whatever it might be. I got this for you, and this is the one that I've been thinking about. So often, as Bears fans, we keep saying things like, but when they get good, it's going to be so much fun. All that pain and all that stuff it's going to go away because, damn it, we lived through it, and the Bears are going to get good. I think today, even more so, solidified the fact that Caleb Williams is the best quarterback the Chicago Bears have ever had. Justin Fields was really fun to watch, and he made plays every once in a while that made you go, wow. But not like this. This kid's arm talent is next level, which sets this up perfectly. Because I got to know, Logan, true or false, you have any faith that this organization will get it right because they finally have the quarterback. but are they going to put the pieces around him to make this one legit? If you are in the comment section, please chime in on this true or false, because I got to know your answer. I want to hear what Logan has to say first. But all of you in the comment section, you have faith that this organization will get it right, whether that be the head coach, whether that be like putting a championship team together, whether it be putting in an offensive line around your stud quarterback. Do you have any faith that they're going to do it?
Oh, so you got me into this show, Dangle, and I opened up and I was like, I'm going to be positive. Despite it all, I'm going to be positive. But this is the fattest false of all time. You could put like in this question, you have faith that any of my favorite sports teams will get it right, other than shout out Illinois football, just on the up and up. But I digress. This Bears organization, I do not have faith that this organization will get it right, because when people show you who they are over and over again, time and time again, you got to trust that that's who they are. And this is who the McCaskies are. Before, like a couple hours ago, I saw the video of George going through the lots and talking to fans. And I would love to have been a fly on George's coat during all those interactions, just to hear the things that people said to him, because I'm sure there are probably some awkward moments, as there should be. So before I continue to tell how little faith I have in this organization, I will at least say I respect that. You're putting yourself out there. I tweeted it. Jerry Reinsdorf would never in a billion years have done that. So I give him that. But despite all of that, the like viral Kevin Fishbane video from a week or two ago, where he went through the cycle of how they've continuously been 1 to 2 steps behind on hiring the right coach, pairing him with the right quarterback. There's enough history to be seen to say that unfortunately, it doesn't make me happy to say that the organization will not get it right, but I just don't think that they will. I want to get more into Caleb, but I'll let you go first, Dangle. But before I do, I'd just say that they have gotten Caleb right, I think, but you had the first overall pick, and it was the most unanimous choice that there probably has been for a first overall pick in a few years. So I don't even give them credit for that, but that's sadly a false for me.
Yeah, just reading in some of the chat, which some awesome people sticking with us tonight. So thank you so much for all of you phenomenal people for hanging out with the Bear Down Chicago podcast. Matt, as of now, false. Andrew, false. Haven't gotten it right since when? 85 Bears. TJ Brooks can sign Bobby Boucher and they'd get it wrong. Yeah. The hard part is, because I watched this kid play today, and I kept having the same thought over and over and over again. The game's on the line, except in one instance and only one instance. He took the worst sack he could have ever taken because he was trying to do too much. Yep. But the rest of this game, I mean, that kid was everything as advertised and more so. That roll to the right where you think he's throwing it away, and instead it gets dropped perfectly into DeAndre Swift's hands. You're like, what's happening right now?
Yeah.
And so the question is, are the Bears going to ruin him? Because a couple weeks ago, that's what I thought was the case, but it seems like this kid is impervious to that. But I just don't think that this organization can get it right in all the ways that I want them to, which, I keep seeing that Matthew McConaughey, the video of him in Interstellar, where he's like banging on the books, like, no, don't do it. And it's like your dad, like making you a Bears fan. And I'm like, man, I could cheer for a whole lot of other teams. And I don't know, just be disconnected from it. But you're just, it's like part of your blood. And so I continually cheer for an organization that doesn't love me back. And man, I don't think I do. And I have a feeling that this will be a little bit like Carson Palmer. Do you remember the Bengals? Mm-hmm. He had so many good years where it seemed like he was never perfect, but doing so much to help the team win, but they were never doing anything around him to help him. And I hope that I'm wrong,
and I would say, like, to your point about Carson Palmer, like, they had a sort of a similar situation. Like, Marvin Lewis was their head coach, who if on paper, I'm pretty sure Marvin Lewis had like a pretty good NFL track record in terms of like a record and stuff, but they never did anything like postseason wise. And Marvin Lewis was also, he was a very much like a Bears type head coach hire, where it's a soft spoken guy who kind of did the same thing year over year with that team. And it was never like really that good. It was probably better than the Bears could have asked for, but yeah, no, that's a very, very accurate comparison. And it kind of like, that scares me a little bit, that thought. But the drive where he did drop it into Swift, and then like a few plays before that, Caleb bulleted one to Keenan Allen and threw it in like literally one of the tightest windows I've ever seen. That's what I mean. It's like, I'm kind of just like a general QB watcher where you can just get a sense of where a guy has confidence. And like the way that he was stepping into throws today, the way that he was delivering the ball was just a ton like anyone who's barely watched football could probably compare some of his throws to in previous weeks to today. And it was just completely different. Don't tell me that this guy doesn't have the arm. Like that's, and you mentioned Justin Fields, and I don't want to like, you don't have to keep putting down Justin Fields to bring up Caleb Williams, but the arm is just different. Just to use it as a comparison, you can just see it just comes out of his hand differently. So the fact that he's doing all of this stuff with the situation that he is in right now, like he's working double hard to look impressive. And so the fact that he did what he did today and gave this dead team, this dead in the water team life, like 3 straight weeks to almost win games. And yes, the sack was bad, but he's a rookie. He's a rookie, and he's played 11 games or whatever it is now. He's going to make mistakes like that. Every rookie quarterback does. The Hall of Famers did that when they were rookies. So it's just, there's every reason to be so pleased with Caleb Williams, but you just need the coaching aspect to go along with it to complete everything.
So Barlissimo, first thing I want to say is I want to welcome you to the show, and he's got some good stuff. You have faith in this organization. We'll get it right. Ha, 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 ha. Yeah. So yeah, we agree. We're all in agreement here. Ron Winarski, same thing. No faith that the Bears are tanking again. It's not going to happen. But also, I want to throw this one in here. Deciding and throwing with complete conviction. I don't know where like the Caleb cult people, why they keep coming, or not the Caleb, excuse me, the Justin Fields cult keeps coming back. I don't understand it, but I think this past week is like, well, see, it's, Justin Fields would have got it done right if they would have drafted the right. What do you stop? What
Caleb Williams has more career 300+ yard passing games than Justin Fields.
How could you watch this unless your name is Dan Orlovsky, watch this and say that the Bears didn't knock it out of the park with it? I want to read this to you because Brendan Shagru, our guy, Brendan Shagru, put this together. And I think this is phenomenal. I'm so sorry for all of you that are hanging out with us on YouTube. I don't have a visual of it. I should have. I apologize. Okay. Quarterbacks and their passer ratings versus the Vikings D. Flores is legit. That guy, I know they're a little bit banged up, but that guy is a phenomenal defensive coordinator, like truly phenomenal. Okay, Daniel Jones. Sorry. Whew, straight face. 44.3. Purdy, 101.3. Okay, that's pretty good. CJ Stroud, 68.6. Jordan Love, 83. Goff, 140. Okay, so Goff's winning. We got that. Okay, cool. Matt Stafford, 124. Joe Flacco, 63. Jones, 38.3. Will Levis, 84.7. Caleb Williams, 103.1. He's not the highest, right? But Goff's 140.
Jared Goff, think about their offense and their coach and their everything. The Lions have it. Their Lions are the Super Bowl favorites, if you along with the Chiefs. But like, he has a perfect situation, so.
Third best rating of any quarterback, and he's a freaking rookie with this an offensive coordinator calling his second game, right? There's just so many reasons to be excited about him, but then the problem becomes yet again, do we think this organization can get it right? Can they get the head coach right? See, that's the thing is they continually bring in for interviews the right people, and then they hire the wrong guy. Yeah. And I just I want to know what, they had Cliff Kingsbury in. They had Thomas Brown in for this offensive coordinator position. They've had Dan Quinn in. They've had so many good the list goes on and on and on. And they had the right people in, and they're like, nah, I don't really like that one. I want somebody else. You're like, stop. What are you doing wrong? Like, can it be fixed? Can it?
Yeah, I know. It's like it's just the same thing over and over again. And like I'm always comparing Chicago teams. White Sox did the same thing with they were gonna hire AJ Hinch or Tony La Russa. For those of you who don't know, AJ Hinch, former manager of the Astros. I know they had some cheating stuff. He was a great manager, all of that out of the way, won a World Series. Detroit hires him instead because the White Sox don't hire the obvious guy. They went with Jerry's friend, and he takes a very average Detroit team to the playoffs this year, to the ALCS. And that's to say it's a theme. And it's the same thing with the Bears. It's just when you have the choice between the right guy and the wrong guy, they just end up choosing the wrong guy over and over again. But I think that they chose the right guy with the quarterback with the number 1 overall pick. So let's just be thankful for that.
He's going to be fun to watch. And the connection, it was nice to see Keenan Allen get some catches, but that wasn't the one that got me. It was him to Rome Odunze. There is something special there. And Rome, a couple balls were a little too high, which, again, he's a rookie. There are some things he's not going to be perfect. But when it mattered, him to Rome Odunze for that catch, Rome went up and got it. And it's just there's a connection brewing amongst those two. And I just think it's going to continue to develop as time goes on. DJ Moore is not the one that we wanted, that we thought it was going to be this great connection between the two, like right away, but it isn't. But him and Rome Odunze is going to be so much fun, Logan. And we're not going to win all the football games, but we're going to have those two to watch, and that's going to be really, really fun.
Absolutely. And one thing that I'll say about that is like Keenan Allen hasn't been good this year. I understand that largely that trade has not looked good. And probably in hindsight, you don't do it. He looked good today. He had he almost had that crazy catch on the sideline. He's getting targeted. I think it was 15 times, which sure, that's a lot to be giving an older receiver like that. But at the same time, what I'll say about Keenan Allen kind of being here this year and being able to sort of just like see through some of the bad and like see a good day like today with Rome Odunze, I don't think that he's the type of rookie receiver that would be ready to be that like number 1 guy right this minute. And despite, again, the Keenan Allen, some duds that he's put up this year and being a little injured, I like that we have had him I'm sure he's learned a lot from Keenan. And I think it allows Rome to just sit back and learn a little bit more and not be looked at as that guy in year 1. Where it's like, oh, we need Rome to have a 1,000-yard season as a rookie, or else this team is going to average like 14 points a game. So again, I think just this is the silver lining podcast, as every Bears podcast is. If you're looking at that, I am happy that Keenan's on this team, because I think days like today takes a little bit of pressure off Rome. He can do his thing. He can learn a little bit and just become more comfortable with Caleb.
TJ Brooks just threw us a good one, Logan. Way too early, true or false. Rome Odunze will be the first wide receiver drafted, re-signed to a second contract for the Bears in a long time. Yeah, you're right. It's way too early. And I love that you prefaced it with that. But my thought process is, if he continues this development and they continue the chemistry, God, I hope so. I absolutely positively hope so. That would be stellar for the Bears and for Bears fans.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. What was the last top 10 Bears wide receiver first round pick? Was it Kevin White? Probably. And so like when you draft a guy in the top 10, if you don't end up re-signing him, it just means that you failed big time and that guy is not a good player. So based on the fact that we've seen clearly that Rome is a good football player, you have to assume that it's going to end up happening, but we are Bears fans, so we can't guarantee anything offensively or act like we know anything offensively. So I hope so. But yeah, that's a great point, TJ.
Logan, if it's okay with you, I think it's time to head out to
the outhouse and the penthouse. Outhouse and the penthouse.
Better twice.
We had to go twice because it was just so bad. And all the buttons. There's so many buttons for me to push. Attention, Chicagoland investors and business owners. Need a commercial real estate expert? Look no further than our guy, Jeff Cadwallader at SVN Landmark Commercial Real Estate in Geneva. With generations of experience, Jeff specializes in office, retail, investment, and land properties. For all your commercial real estate needs, you got to trust Jeff Cadwallader. Visit jeffcre.com or give him a call or a text, 630-254-4734. Now, one big ask for all of you, if you have any questions about real estate, Jeff is your guy. Shoot him a text or jeffcre.com. Please let him know that the guys at the Bear Down Chicago podcast say hello. Now, Logan, I think with the theme of let's because we got to go to the outhouse first because the Bears lost. Let's make this quick. I mean, let's make it really, really quick because
Sure.
I would like to go around the penthouse twice because there were some good things to focus in on. And yes, the Bears lost, but I'm sick of being negative all the time. And yeah, we could focus on how the Bears had another heartbreaking loss, but I don't really want to do that. And if it's okay with you, let's do quick outhouse and then let's head to the penthouse. You down with that, buddy?
Down with that. Let's do it.
All right. So Logan Bradley, who is in your outhouse?
I'm looking at a list of a couple of things that I could say here, but I'll just touch on one guy defensively, and it's just Tyreek Stevenson. He looked like a traffic cone today on that one play. Just has been really bad, which, man, how could you be good? He's after what happened, that with the Hail Mary, that had to have just beaten him down mentally. And I can't imagine literally trying to recover from that. But if it isn't the consequences of my own actions, like it's just Tyreek Stevenson made just that's almost like an error you can't come back from. That video of him celebrating in the end zone before that. So it's unfortunate because earlier this year and last year, he showed flashes of being good, and it's not like he's completely thrown him in the trash or anything like that. But man, he was not good. He's looked rough. So he's in my outhouse.
So I mean, I'm sick of picking Matt Eberflus every single week. So I'm going to say DeAndre Carter. That one hurt a lot. He's calling poison. He's screaming it and he's throwing his arms out, but yet you're still there. And then the ball gets knocked off your foot. And then this hurts my heart because I know the kid and I've met him and we have chatted before. Bo Richter, who our good friend of the podcast, who's on last week,
I didn't
Sean
connect
Drendel.
those dots.
Yes, Sean Drendel, he played for him. And so you're like, I'm so excited to see this kid play. He played linebacker at Air Force. He was a stud. The Vikings picked him up as a free agent, and he's playing on special teams, and he gets the fumble recovery.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there going, yay, I'm so excited for Bo Richter because he's such a good kid. And I really am excited for that. But then, like, what are you doing, man? He doesn't do that. We might be talking about a Bears victory right now, which is insane to think about. But there's so many what ifs in this game, and I don't want to play that game for forever. Anything else you want to say, Logan, about that one?
No, that was just backbreaking and just so dumb. But hey, the dumbly coached teams make dumb plays. So
I would say, Sean, I know you're a high school football coach. Could we get you to step in as interim just for a little bit?
That would be better. I'd take it. Give me anything.
Let's see what he's got. Let's see what he's got.
Yeah,
All right. So Logan, let's do 2 rounds. So you'll go, I'll go, and then we'll head back out same direction. So who is in your penthouse?
My penthouse, first one I'm going to go with is the offensive line. At least, like, generally speaking, from what I saw today, there were many times where I was like, wow, Caleb Williams is able to kind of sit back there and take his time a little bit, see what he wants to do, go through a couple of reads. And I just feel like I really haven't seen that a lot this year. Ironically, almost that bad sack that he took in overtime, he got so much time, and that was almost like he had too much time to like sit back there and not make a decision and throw the ball. So it didn't quite work out there. But for as much as we've talked bad upon the offensive line, and there still are plenty of problems, and it's not perfect, but I think that the line gave Caleb a shot today, and that's all that you can ask.
Logan, thank you. I mean, I can't not take this one, and so I'm going to. He set the Bears single season record for passing yards for rookie quarterback. His name is Caleb Williams. He was 32 for 47. The Bears did have it overtime, so that I'm going to say that's a lot of throwing of the football. 340 yards, 10.6 average, 2 tutties, and yet again, zero interceptions. Quarterback rating 103.1, and he's the thing that makes him special for me. Third and fourth down. Seemingly that two things can be true: that Caleb Williams will do just enough to get it done, and that Matt Eberflus will F it up somehow. I don't know how, but he's going to figure it out somehow. Yeah. But Caleb Williams, I need to be effusive. This kid is so special. Yeah. I'm sure someone said it in the chat. We've all said it at some point. His quick release is something that I have never seen as a Bears fan. I think strong arm, Jay Cutler, like no one was going to deny his arm strength. Dude could chuck it down the field like nothing. Justin Fields had a strong arm at times, deep ball. Mitch Trubisky had a couple. Okay, this is so different. Everything about it is different. His release, it's like you don't even see it. It's just gone. And again, at times, just was special. So much fun.
Yep. And just one quick thing based off that, because it bothered me so much, but like I don't ever go back and forth with people, but I was commenting on something about Caleb on Instagram a week or two ago, and this guy like sends me this long thing about like, oh, how he's not a leader, and he always looks like he goes and sits by himself on the sidelines, and he doesn't go and look at his tablet, and I just think that like these days it's so easy to like pick out a 2-second clip of somebody, and look, I'm guilty of that too sometimes, but I try to be careful about like who I'm saying it about. But like I think I can't tell you how dumb I think that guy is, because he cried after a game last year. That guy is a leader, and all you needed to know was that report that came out about how he took responsibility for Waldron's firing, or partial responsibility, and stood in front of the team. So it's just, you can say whatever you want about Caleb, but I think that if you say that he's not a leader, that's BS, because the fact that he's done some of the things he's done as a rookie is incredible. And it's more of a leader than we've seen from a lot of Bears quarterbacks in the past.
Oh my God. A man cried. Oh my God.
Yeah.
How the fact that he cared so much that it got to him emotionally. Like, oh my gosh. Oh, what's wrong with him? I couldn't love this kid enough. All right, so let's go back. Oh, actually, sorry, one more comment I got to throw in there. You say there was overtime, but we only had 3 plays on offense, dude.
Yeah.
Barelissimo, again, thanks for hanging out with us. That's a great point. Caleb Williams, fourth quarter. Caleb is cold. It is, and that's the thing is,
that's cool.
Like, Justin Fields was like, "Oh, the game's on the line." Wah,
yeah.
Wah.
You were just praying that like Fields could do it with his legs in those situations on those drives. It was like that game where he ran for like 100 whatever yards, set some record, but like that's how he had to do it. Caleb can obviously doesn't have the rushing ability of Justin Fields, but that's the other part of his game that we kind of haven't talked about, is like he's picking his spots to run, and Caleb's really good at that. Again, he's not gonna be a guy who runs for 100 yards, but he can get things done with his legs in certain situations, and he did it again today.
He was figuring it out in the beginning of the season that his athletic nature, which just, at USC, he could do whatever he wanted, is not going to work. But you're right that there are a certain number of plays where it's like, I can get to the sticks.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get 60 yards out of this run, as you said perfectly, but I can get to the sticks. And he did that. Right. And that part was a lot of fun. All right, buddy. So why don't you head back out to the penthouse? I've definitely got my second choice ready to roll whenever you are finished.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to combine 2, and I hope it doesn't take yours, but I'm going to go with DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. I've been critical of DJ Moore this year, and I still think that he's been really bad in terms of being a leader for this team. But DJ Moore, 7 catches, 106 yards, and a touchdown. Keenan Allen, 9 catches, 86 yards, and a touchdown. It's partially a penthouse spot for Caleb Williams as well, just because he's the one distributing the ball. And those are numbers we don't usually see 2 receivers almost both getting 100 yards. So it was really good to see both of them be productive today. And again, they both had rough moments this year. So I think with a game like today, they deserve some credit for making plays and getting open.
Yeah, so I was thinking, do I pick Cole Kmet because it was nice to see him get involved? Had that drop that really kind of hurt.
Yeah.
And, but still that, I would also say DeAndre Swift was another one that I kind of considered. Yeah, he wasn't able to run the ball, but nobody can run the ball on the Vikings, and, had 65, whatever, all-purpose yards. This one for me is a no-brainer. It's got to be Thomas Brown. His second game as the Bears offensive coordinator, and the offense it's night and day. It's a different offense. Caleb's getting the ball out of his hands so much faster. There's rhythm and rhyme. Yeah, there were two plays where I said, "What are you doing?" Mm-hmm. But that was when Shane Waldron was calling plays. That seemingly was like every single drive. It was like what why are we doing this? Why is this happening? Where nobody is going to be perfect, but Thomas Brown is a breath of fresh air to this offense. There's clearly a chemistry between him and Caleb, which is why, again, I am hoping against hope that the Bears do fire Matt Eberflus and give him a shot. See what he can do, right? The worst thing is he loses, but we're already losing anyway. And so to see maybe this guy's chemistry that he has with Caleb Williams can transfer to the rest of the team. He can bring some energy and some enthusiasm. What do you got to lose? You literally, what do you have to lose? And so Thomas Brown is definitely in my penthouse, and I'm excited to watch him call plays down the stretch. He doesn't do anything crazy, Logan, but he just does the simple shit well, and it's fun to watch, man.
Yeah, no, and just I'll do a real quick extra credit outhouse just because I had it on the list. I put Shane Waldron on the list. Holy crap, man! What were you doing? What were you doing? Thomas Brown had I know he's been with the team, but he went in and immediately things they aren't fixed, but they're just better. So an extra credit outhouse, Shane Waldron. You weren't even there in the building today, but you still are in the outhouse.
Have you ever been in a position at your job or in some aspect of your life where you everyone is saying the same thing? Why are we doing things like this? Yeah. Why are we doing things like this, like the simple things? And then someone new comes in and they go, yeah, we're just going to do those simple things right. And you're just like,
yeah. And those are such pivotal moments when you ask yourself, why are we doing this? What's going on? Listen to when you ask yourself those things because you're asking the right questions.
How you sat in interviews with him and said, this is the guy that we're going with. Barelissimo, because Eberflus is a terrible judge of coaches, but Poles had to sign off on this. And that's scary to me. Did you talk to Pete Carroll? Did you? You listen to those interviews and going back and at first we saw that Jackson Smith and Jigba interview where he's like, guys hired Eberflus, and you're like, oh, he doesn't. Yeah, he totally knew what was going on.
He knew that was so spot on. Oh my gosh.
But he tried to be a professional about it. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think we could rant and rave, but again, I think there were some things to be positive about, and because their season is done, that they're cooked. They've lost 5 in a row.
Yeah.
Do you give them any shot on Thursday? You think they got a shot against the Lions?
No. I think that they're 10-point underdogs. It just came out 10.5. No, it's just Detroit is so good. They're truly a wagon. I believe in what they're doing. It is the Lions on Thanksgiving. They still wear that blue jersey. And maybe in that case they just remember that it's Thanksgiving Day and that they suck on that day. But it's a different Detroit team. So I really don't have any expectations. I just hope that it'll be a good test for Caleb. It sucks. We're in the same spot every time. We're just hoping the quarterback does well, but here we are again.
Yep. I think that might be the most balanced team in the entire NFL. And excuse me, that their depth is just unreal. They've got 2 phenomenal running backs. They can throw it on you. Their offensive line is stellar. Their defense is more than good enough to get it done. Yeah, I just I don't know why. I'm probably wrong, but I just feel like Bears get blown out and that maybe Ryan Poles does
Oh.
the unthinkable, and hey, gives somebody an opportunity in which to do it. Maybe it's just wishful thinking. It's because I've been a Bears fan. I'm 42. I know, but maybe
Oh,
who
that's
knows?
fair. Hey, who am I to tell you not to stay positive and think that way, Dangle? I want him fired. So I'm going to go with your gut too. I'm thinking that. I'm putting it out of the universe. We're going to get our doors blown off by Detroit, and Flus is going to be hitting the road.
A man can dream, can't he, Logan?
Yes, he can.
Yeah, all right, buddy. Hey, anything that we missed about either this game, the Chicago Bears as an organization, what's coming up, or anything along those lines?
I don't think so. No, I'm just excited about a short work week and some Thanksgiving this week.
Yeah, buddy. I think that's the thing that I was going to ask is, things that you are thankful for. And it's a super short week. That part is awesome. I'm very thankful for my friends on this podcast. It's been tougher this year to do things. And I think just everybody's in a spot where it's like, prioritizing other things, because this is not a job. This has been a passion of love for us, but it's much harder to do when the team is just so shitty for so long. The 3 seasons that we've been doing this podcast, it's been really bad. I'm thankful for family. I'm very thankful for my wife. I'm so thankful for my 2 beautiful little girls. And as I was telling you before we got started, I was in a band for a very, very, very long time. And we all everybody got big kid jobs, and we had to stop doing it because, things kind of came up. And we went out for drinks a couple weeks back, and everybody said, hey, let's pick it back up. Let's do it. And it's just, awesome. We're getting the band back together. And so
you're getting the band back together.
It's one of those things. It was always one of the most fun parts of my entire life. And just those guys are so good at it. And so I'm very, 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 very excited about that. Logan, what are some things that you're thankful for and looking forward to?
This is the first year and probably maybe ever where I'm not going home for Thanksgiving just because flights are ridiculous expensive. So I'll be going home for Christmas. But I'm thankful for Isabel, my girlfriend out here. We're gonna spend it with her, and then also with some friends. We're gonna go to Joshua Tree and spend it out there. So got some very good friends out here, and we're renting an Airbnb. So it's like, I've not in the marriage life, don't have a family or anything like that yet, but definitely got like a little family out here, which is really fantastic just because, my whole actual family is still in Chicago, and I will always be thankful for them, and I'll see them very soon. But it's good to have people out here in LA because, as you know, Dangle, the first year or so I was out here, I didn't really, I had a few friends here and there that I kind of knew from high school, but now I've got Isabel out here and got friends. So it's, feels more like home. It never will actually be home. Chicago/Naperville always will be, but it's good to be more comfortable out here and to have people to rely on. So we've both got great families and great friends. So you can't come on here and be negative about everything, life's good.
Dude, Logan, spot on, man. So well said. Joshua Tree's beautiful too, dude. You're gonna have so much fun. I'm excited for you, man. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah, it'll be we've been out there a couple times, just the stars at night. Oof, it's crazy. Just so
especially
clear.
Going from LA to that. What a huge switch.
Complete.
There's I think. Is there a specific shout out that you wanted to give? Because if not, I think that kind of settles that.
Yeah, no, all good.
For all of you that are listening, thank you. It's been tough to be a Bears fan as of late. And, right now hanging out with 270 plus people, a lot of you chatting in the comments. It's been fun, to commiserate together, but truly we're so very thankful that you've chosen to hang out with the Bear Down Chicago podcast. Truly, there's so many wonderful places that you can get Bears content from, and you've chosen to hang out with us. It does not get lost on us. Truly, just so you all know, it really means a lot to us, all of us at the Bear Down Chicago podcast. And so that's Brendan Shagrew, that's Logan Bradley, that's Jack Wright, that's Cam Ellis, that's Patrick Sheldon, that's me, Ryan Dangle. Folks, thank you so very much. And as always, Bear Down Chicago.